Hey everybody, welcome to Dad Talk. Today we are live at Turning Point in Tampa, Florida, and I am here with the youngest member of Congress ever, Mr. Madison Cawthorn. Madison, how you doing?
I'm doing very well, brother. It's an honor to get to be on the show with you.
Man, I have been looking forward to this interview for a while. I know we were supposed to do it earlier this year and we got caught up, but we talked about the issue of fatherlessness, and you told me about how much this means to you and why you fight for it. Madison, could you talk a little bit about the fatherless issue?
You know what I see in America right now, there's a breakdown in the nuclear family. And don't believe that this is just some construct that's accidentally happened. I genuinely believe that it is a very intentional thing. When I think about an election, I think about who my voters are. I know what they look like. I know where they vote. I generally know where they live. I can build you what the average voter of my movement looks like, and how they act, what they vote, what they believe, all these things. And I believe that really the radical left is starting to do the exact same thing. I think they started about 4 decades ago, and they realized, okay, people that come from broken homes or come from fatherless homes, or people that have been never married or have no children, they are people that vote for the state to have more power. And so when I think about fatherlessness going on, when I think that the fact that we subsidize fatherless homes in minority communities especially, I realize it's a malevolent reason. It's not because they want to help these single mothers out. It's because they want those children to grow up without fathers, because they know that they will then yield to the state whatever power they need.
The government has tried to replace the father in the home.
It absolutely. I talk about the same thing with religion. I think it's the same thing with fathers in the home. The larger government gets, by necessity, the smaller God has to get. By necessity, the smaller the father has to get. Whatever your authority figure is in your life, it has to get smaller for the government to get bigger.
Yeah, and unfortunately, you got the divorce rates that's going on in the country right now. So, they end up having to go to court to fight for the rights of their children. 83.5% of men in the state of, in the United States of America, 91% in the state of Texas, where we just was, end up without custody of their children.
It's awful.
And these guys are fighting tooth and nail. I've heard some of the worst cases, Madison, where the mom could be on drugs, leaving the kid at home, and dad still can't get custody. How did we end up here?
Well, you know what? I think it's completely slanted towards mothers, and I completely understand how this may have started out.
Right.
You know what, mothers, you never want to mess with a mama there, right? I
No.
always say the most ferocious people in our movement is really the moms who think that their generation's being stolen away.
That's
exactly. But I can understand how they probably fight tooth and nail to keep their children. The jury's probably very empathetic about that. But you know what? I think that we need to speak to the root problem and it's the divorce rate. I think that once you have a child, it's not your life anymore. You are dedicated to saving that child. And really, my father was incredible. He taught me the art of discipline. He taught me how to be a dangerous man, how to be ferocious, how to be competitive, how to be all that I can be, and to embrace my masculinity. But then my mother taught me the compassion of how to be a gentleman. She taught me the reason why I need to be dangerous, why I need to be able to defend my family against the evils of the world. And it's because I get to defend my mother. I get to defend my family. And that's what's so important. So I think the duality of having both parents in the home that teach you both sides, I think, is very important.
Yeah, and so we've had a hard time getting through to some of our older representatives, older congressmen. And now we've got this young wave coming in. People like yourself who are very personable, you're recognizing the issue, you're talking about it for the first time. So how receptive do you think is Congress and is the Senate into looking at this issue and saying, we need to take away some of these policies that have been killing families?
Well, I'll tell you, this is the reason I'm such a strong proponent of term limits. I think these career politicians, to them, no matter what's going on in the country, they think it's just another election. But as a 25-year-old growing up really right below the millennial generation, I understand how much I've been pulled on by political forces my entire life. I realize that the Democrats have been playing for keeps. They want the hearts and minds and the souls of the younger generation. And so really, I think we need to break through to these more career politicians and say, hey, you know what? This is not just another election. It's time to fight tooth and nail. And that includes really, that's defending the family. And I genuinely believe that we need to be pushing out policies that is all so pro-family, it's also keeping the family unit together, the nuclear family. That's what makes us a strong country.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Madison, what would your life have been like without your father?
You know what? I will tell you, I obviously went through a really traumatic car accident. I'm actually going to talk about it on stage here in just a little bit. And I will tell you, without the strong foundation that my father gave me, of really showing me that example of how to be disciplined, how to push through things, even when you don't want to, even when things are hard, I don't think I would have gotten through it. I think I probably would have committed suicide.
Yeah, and I know you're going to talk about that on stage, so you don't have to go too into it. But how was life after the accident? What were some of the things that you went through and some of the struggles that you had to face?
Definitely went to some dark places, and you need to allow yourself to have the mourning. The Bible talks about sitting Shiva. You need to allow yourself to feel those feelings. But eventually, my dad had a conversation with me. He said, "Son, you're living a shell of a life, and so you either need to decide to stop living, or that you're just going to live in spite of your wheelchair and not focus on it at 24/7." And I can't imagine how hard that is for a father to say to their son, knowing what that could mean.
And I talk to a lot of these guys that are going through divorce, their families breaking up, not being able to see their kids, and they're so full of pain and all this adversity. And I look at, your adversity, you turn that pain into purpose. You became the youngest person in Congress out there. If that's not a powerful story, guys, I don't know what is. And Madison, knowing that you're in that office and you're fighting for these issues, gives me hope. Because we need to get the nuclear family back together. Because if we do not have strong families, this nation will fall.
Amen. That is absolutely correct. It is a matter of national security, I genuinely believe.
Yes, sir. Madison, tell everybody where they can keep up with you.
You know what? You can follow me either on my Instagram at Madison Cawthorn, or on Twitter with Rep Cawthorn, although I hate Twitter. Or on Facebook. Also, I'm on Fox News. I'm on OAN. I'm on basically all the news channels that I can be on, because I genuinely believe that it's not the fact that Republicans have a bad message.
Right.
It's the fact that we've had bad messengers, and people
Exactly.
have they say, oh well, they're the party of corporate tax cuts. No, we're the party of conservative values, of strong families, of keeping people safe. It's not getting into the weeds of incremental GDP growth at the end of the year. It's the idea that I want to be able to send my daughter to New York and make sure she's not going to get raped, and not be afraid that she's going to get raped. I want to be able to sleep at night with my door unlocked, because I believe we live in such a safe country. That's what our party's about.
Absolutely.
Well, hey, thank you both very much.
Thank you so much, man.
It's great. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Hey everybody, Eric Carroll here. Thank you for tuning in to another exciting episode of Dad Talk Today. While we fight for you, we would ask for you to please help fight for us. Like, subscribe to our channel, and ring that bell so you get notifications every time we go live. There's also super chats, patreon.com/dadtalktoday, and other ways you can support our channel. Thank you for being here, and we will see you next time.